Hello friends, Craig Avery here. Some of you I've talked to somewhat recently, some not so recent. The reason for this video is that many of you know, if you don't know, now you know, Angel and I are now planting a church in Des Moines, Iowa. In 2011 we left Florida to go to Beatrice, Nebraska and plant a church. And if you had told me, say 8 or 10 years ago, that I would be moving to the Midwest to plant churches, I would have told you were crazy and probably not listened to a whole lot you had to say after that. But God knows what He's doing. Angel and I would have gladly stayed in Florida in our home church and developed our ministry there. But God had different plans, and God's plans are always good. So in July of 2011, we packed up, moved to Beatrice, Nebraska, and planted a church. When we started, it was just Angel, myself, and our 2 boys. But we began to win people to the Lord, and we planted a church that is still going strong today. We had to go through a lot of things and pay a pretty steep price to plant that church. But if I had to do it all over again, I would. Because I saw the fruit that came out of that, and the lives that were changed, and the people that came to know Christ and are still coming to know Christ today, even though we've turned that work over to someone else. So now we would have gladly stayed there and continued the work that God had for us. But around about the beginning of the summer, maybe late spring of 2015, Angel and I both began to feel a release from that. We didn't know what God was up to or what was next, but we began to pray about it and talk to the overseer about it and began to seek the Lord for what He was doing in our lives and what He wanted next from us. Around June of 2015, the overseer contacted us and asked us if we would go to Des Moines. After fasting and prayer, we felt like that's what God was up to and that's what He wanted from us. We would have never foresaw that, never been able to predict that that's what God was going to do, but God has His plans, and His plans are always good. So now here we are in Des Moines, Iowa, planting a church. Not much unlike Nebraska, there's not a whole lot of Spirit-filled churches in Iowa. More than there is in Nebraska, but not much. In the Des Moines metro area, there's only 2.74% of the total population of Des Moines metro area that claims to be a Spirit-filled evangelical believer. Yet Des Moines is one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in America. Strong job growth. The 3rd fastest growing city in America is one of the Des Moines suburbs, and all of the Des Moines suburbs are blowing up. The population is expected to more than double over the next 10 years. It's just incredible growth here, the incredible opportunity that we have to win the harvest. So we're asking for your support. Would you please join us, first of all, by praying for us, as many of you had in our last church plant. But would you also pray and consider strongly supporting us financially? As you're watching this video, you've also gotten a link to a fundraising page. Please look at that page and consider giving a donation. Everything that you give is tax deductible, and every cent that you give will go straight to the church plant. Angel and I aren't taking anything for personal support, but we're giving it all into the effort of planting the church. So please pray about this with us. We plan to launch the church in 2 phases. The first phase will be September of this year, and the second phase will be September of next year. The reason why we're doing that is because we're in a building that God has blessed us with, but we anticipate that we'll outgrow that building quickly. So we'll need to move into something probably by spring of summer of next year. So I'd ask you to strongly consider joining with us and helping with us. Your donation and your partnership could have a huge impact on winning the souls for Christ and reaping the harvest that is so plentiful here, and we can't do it without your support. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you, and God bless.